share the YouTube link in the Telegram channel. A couple of seconds. All right, it's shared. I think that we can start with the updates. Martin, do you want to go first?
Sure. So yeah, in the last couple of days, I've been working on a proof of concept.
Sorry, I think that you're muted. I'm not being able to hear you.
1 second. Hello, hello? No?
Oh, I think it's my problem then.
All right.
Yeah, my maybe my Bluetooth headphones are not working. Actually, Martin, do you want to? I think that I can't hear anyone. Martin, do you want to lead the meeting for a couple of minutes until I fix this thing?
Sounds good. So yeah, in the last couple of days, I've been working on a proof of concept to send some of the values like the current head that for choice calculates and store like a cache value of that on beacon chain, so other parts of the application can query it many times without having any bottleneck issues with for choice. And I've also been working with sending for choice updates to the execution client. Now that we have Sepolia working, I was trying to test if we could get to sync state instead of being optimistic. But I wasn't able to get to that state because, my theory was that somehow the execution client was not getting enough peers, so it was not able to sync properly. But then Mega commented something which is very interesting, is that I was sending the wrong hashes to the execution client. So maybe that's the reason I was sending consensus hashes, but we need to send execution hashes. So I'm gonna work on fixing that and test again. And then also after fixing that, I was planning to test on the server to see if we can fix the potential issue with the peers, if that's the case. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna be working next. Tomas, do you hear us or not yet? Yes.
I heard most of the update. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Thank you
So
so
you are
much.
leading, or do you want me to? Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
I can continue. Thank you. Sorry for the interruption. I was like, my headphones were actually muted. That's awesome. That's great progress. Let us know if you need any help debugging, but I think that you're on a very good path. And yeah, caching the head is a very important thing. I think that was one of our biggest technical debts since we started any for choice work. So thank you for taking that. The next one is a cache.
Uh, Hello everyone. I was working on the Beacon API, the get block headers API. So there are two endpoints. One is to get the block header by the block ID, and the other one to and the other one in the other one there are two parameters. One is the slot number and the parent block root, but they don't lie in the path of the endpoint. So I don't know how I can refer those parameters in the router because they're not a part of the path.
Okay, yeah, we can send you some links for that.
And
Phoenix
the other
has
one,
ways to. Okay,
the other
sorry,
one
go ahead.
is to get the block ID, to get the block header using block ID, and I implemented that one, but not sure how to test it.
So sorry, just to be clear, your issue is mostly accessing the parameters that are being sent through the query, right? Or is
Yes.
it an issue? Oh, okay, yeah, that's probably an easy fix. We can send you some links of how that works in Phoenix. We'll do that immediately after the meeting. If you want, make sure to send, like, for instance, an example of the query you're working on in the Elixir questions channel, and then we can just send you to the appropriate link. But that's like a Phoenix feature that you can just use. So yeah, if you send us the query, we Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, it just reminded me that as we are working on this, on implementing the API endpoints, it would be nice. I'm not sure if we have like some boilerplate to create integration tests, just to like start off an application with an anchor state and block that we could get some from some fixture or something, and then we could create an integration test for each one of these endpoints. I think that would be really necessary because yeah, there was some breakage in one as well. But anyway, I think we need some testing coverage there.
Yeah, I fully agree. I think that we have to have both things. On the one hand, we can have like basic, well, if these can be considered unit tests or not, that's another discussion. But Phoenix has a way to test endpoints. But I think that if we need to like bring up the whole node and have it syncing and like actual end-to-end integration tests, we need to build a boilerplate for that. We don't have anything for it. But
yeah,
Phoenix,
I think we could do some basic integration tests even without the syncing, because when we just initialize from an anchor state and block, we should have a fork choice, which should have a beacon chain, and it is on one state, so it should be able to return the data on that state. It's kind of
yeah.
basic, but we don't need gossip and that kind of stuff.
Of course, I fully agree. If we have that, then testing is way more valuable. Let's start an issue on that. I will actually take note, because that will make every Phoenix and whatever else test way more valuable. Thank you. That's a very good point. Yeah. Anything else, Akash?
Yeah, that's fine.
Perfect. Thank you. The next one is God's Power.
Good day, everyone. Yesterday, I worked on, I made updates to the PR on localization of basic vectors, and I also spent some time studying an optimized version of localization of chunks. So today, I would focus on adding the benchmarks and seeing measuring measuring the current implementation, and also start implementing or start optimizing our implementation basically. So yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, benchmarking is like a one-way path. Once you start benchmarking, you never stop. Thank you for working on that. The next one is Fernando.
Yes. For my part, yesterday I was reading about the Open API aspects. Already open a issue about that. I create an operation manually, but Martin left a comment there that maybe we can import all the schema defined in the Bitcoin API of Ethereum, so that will be more complete, because it's a lot of methods. So I am trying to see how I can do that, to import
Yeah,
all of that.
I fully agree with that. That would be optimal. Because of two reasons. One of them is that we wouldn't need to write them manually, which is a lot of work, but also, and the most important one, is that we maintain consistency with the original specs. So we can't make mistakes when we do anything manually. I think that would be optimal. If you have any doubts on how to do that, like do some research on your own. I really encourage you to do that. But if you get stuck on that, please let us know, and we can start give you a hand.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. The next one is Tomas.
Yesterday, I added some fixes to the visualizations in Grafana, also some bug that Thomas found that we were using the string module somewhere, and somehow that triggered the bug. So we changed it for a pattern match. Hopefully, that will, if that error occurs in the future, then the error message will be something more easily understandable. Also, the visualizations in Grafana, the current slot progress wasn't showing. The current process block wasn't showing. because of some additions I made before. I somehow worked it. I made a PR fixing that. I was also reviewing some other PRs, and I ran some benchmarks on the change to the DB while adding caches for everything that we'll be fetching from the DB. And the benchmarks are actually slower with caches, like 1 second slower, I think, in mainnet. Yeah, I don't have anything to work on right now, so I'll check on the issues and pick something. Unless you have a better idea, we can talk about it after the daily.
Yep. No, there's a lot of things that you can do. Depends on if you want to take a big one or a small one. Like one of the, it is not urgent at all. It's actually nice to have, but working on adding aggregated logs with Loki for both the remote server and the local version, but especially for the remote one, might be an interesting one. Both because it's an interesting like DevOps experience, but mostly because having aggregated logs that you can go in Grafana and look at them instead of looking at an ugly console might be and also with search capabilities and that kind of stuff might make our debugging life way easier. So that's an interest. We already have an issue for that, but it's an interesting one to take on. If we actually find anything more urgent, we can definitely pivot to that. Do you think that's an issue that you would be willing to take?
Yeah, sure.
That's awesome. Thank you. Okay. For my update, yesterday I helped Thomas debug the binary issue. That was I think a couple of minutes in the morning. Then I reviewed some PRs. I mostly and I also had to review a lot of the SSL specs for some of them. I think I'm already done with that. And then now today I'm going back to the concurrency work. I want to have a quick POC as soon as possible, so I'll be prioritizing that today. And that's my update for today. Do we have any final comments or questions? Okay, that's cool. Yeah, thank you everyone for joining today, and we'll see you all tomorrow.